people to, if they're going to go to Kenansville and visit, that buy the tickets online in advance, right? Do you time out the safari? Like, do you like people to go in on a time, like at a certain time?
No, so the safari, it's a day pass. You can come anytime you want. When it comes to our animal encounters and our airboat tours, those are very specific to times. So we do say reservations are required for those. If there's availability when you're there, then you can go ahead and book those. But yes, book in advance just because it guarantees you a spot, guarantees your ticket. We do get pretty busy during the summer. Right now, we're pretty busy. But off times for our locals, it's a perfect time to be able to come when it's a little less busy, and then there's a lot more availability.
Oh, I love that. And I also love the fact that you can go through the safari more than once, because it's cool, because every time you go through, it's a different experience. Oh, yeah. Right? Yeah.
It's morning, evening, it's always going to be different.
I love that.
Before we pass it off to Marley Capper, I do want to just acknowledge all the amazing people that are behind us right now.
Thank you all so much. Yeah, this is, we brought in all the who's who of St. Cloud, the state rep who is over this area this morning, the PIO who is over the city and who has helped us coordinate everything. You guys, thank you all so much for being the mayor. Jennifer Paul, one of the council members. So wonderful to have everybody with us this morning.
All right. Well, thank you all so much for joining us here in St. Cloud as we go through all of the fun stuff. You want to say bye, Armando?
Bye, Armando.
Oh my gosh, aren't they so adorable? I can't. I really want to take this capybara home, you guys. If they would let me, I would, but I'm guessing they're going to say no. Oh my goodness.
Makes a good pet for now.
Yes, and thank you so much to Marley and to Marie this morning, and to everybody here from St. Cloud and Lakefront Park. Come down and visit the spectacular city. Please go visit historic downtown and patronize these businesses. Thank you to everybody who came out and joined us today. It has been spectacular. Ryan and Jess, we are going to send it back to you in the studio. The capybara is trying to take my finger. I might let it. I might. Go ahead, buddy. You can have it.
Oh, got little teeth.
So.
You're watching Fox 35 News Plus, streaming on Fox Local.
Oh, good morning to you and welcome into Fox 35 News Plus. I'm Garrett Weimer, and thanks for joining us on this Friday morning live on Fox Local and on YouTube. Want to let you know some of what we have ahead of us in this next hour. Going to hear from NASA Crew 10 speaking from the International Space Station before they come home. We do expect Crew 11 to head up soon and meet them there and before they come home. So we did hear from NASA's Crew 10 from the ISS in a news conference from space just a few minutes ago. We'll hear from them coming up in a little bit. Deportation flights beginning from Alligator Alcatraz the governor, a number of other state officials in Ochopee earlier this morning, and talking about the details of that. We will hear from them coming up in just a little bit, but give you a live look right now inside the courtroom in Volusia County, where Troy Victorino is in court right now in front of a judge. You can see, again, here's a live look in Volusia County, where Troy Victorino wants a judge to separate an upcoming hearing from his co-defendants. This is about the Xbox murders. You may remember the resentencing trial earlier this year. The jury recommended a death sentence yet again for these two defendants, but as Fox 35's Matt Preza reports, attorneys are hoping to change that decision, and this hearing could play a part in that.
Well, what's going to happen today is the judge is going to entertain a motion to separate these two defendants' hearings before a death penalty sentencing. Now, Troy Victorino wants his hearing to be separate from Jerome Hunter's. The motion claims that Hunter has consistently tried to blame Victorino for his part in the murders. This is ahead of a so-called Spencer hearing. That's where the lawyers for the convicted killers get to present additional evidence to the judge before a possible death sentence is entered. Hunter and Victorino, along with two other men, brutally killed 6 people at a home in DeLand in 2004. The attacks came after Victorino claimed that the people inside stole some of his things, including an Xbox game console. The date for the sentencing hearing itself has not yet been announced.
Let's go ahead and get you inside the courtroom here and listen in. We've been hearing some testimony from a doctor, I believe a psychologist, who had performed some evaluations here. So let's go ahead and listen into this hearing going on live in Volusia County.
I'm referring to page 26 of your deposition, lines 10 through 11, if that assists.
Oh, yeah, let me go back and look. I just don't remember whether it was ambidextrous or mixed dominance.
You see Troy Victorino sitting at the defendant's table in the orange jail jumpsuit. That is one of the prosecutors who is questioning this psychologist at the moment.
Yes, sir. Your full answer starts on line 6 if you want to read through 11.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Did you determine that he was essentially being ambidextrous?
That's what it appeared to be. We did not do dominance testing, but it appeared that that it was incomplete dominance or incomplete lateralization, and it appeared to be ambidextrous.
Okay, thank you. You're not testifying that Hunter's capacity to appreciate the criminality of his conduct was substantially impaired, correct?
No.
You're not testifying that he was under the influence of extreme mental or emotional disturbance, right?
I haven't offered an opinion regarding that.
Okay. And would you agree with me that Hunter knew that if he bashed a person's skull in with a bat, that they're likely going to die?
I didn't offer any opinion related to that.
So you can't offer an opinion about whether or not he would know, bashing someone in the skull, that they would likely die? Is that what you're saying?
I don't, A, know that that's true, and B, I am not prepared to offer an opinion on that.
How about whether or not he would know if he killed someone, he may go to prison?
I'm sure he's aware of the penalties for crimes.
No further questions. Yes, sir.
Dr. Lynn, let me just follow up on some questions and then and we'll be done. So, Dr. Harper, the doctor you referred to, she's a psychologist?
Yes, she's a forensic psychologist, I believe.
All right. And your role in this case was strictly to do an evaluation as a on Mr. Hunter as a neuropsychologist and do the neuropsychology testing?
That is correct.
Okay. Now, you did receive, Dr. Harper's deposition. You testified to that, correct?
That is correct.
And in that deposition, there's a narrative where Dr. Harper did, in fact, talk to Mr. Hunter about the events in question, correct?
That is correct.
And would the same be true with regard to Dr. Herkov's evaluation in time with Mr. Hunter, where Mr. Hunter talked about the events, the murders, the burglary, all that?
I do not believe that was part of Dr. Herkov's deposition.
All right. In your role, your narrow role in this case, were you ever tasked or asked by the defense to ask Mr. Hunter of the murders, the burglary, the events in question in this case?
No, sir.
Okay. When you do an evaluation on a client, other than, well, in general, do you record your evaluations with your patient?
No, sir.
And you do, in your practice, routinely meet with live patients, right? You do interviews, testing, all that?
Yes, sir.
Why do you not record your time with the client?
Well, there's a substantial literature on recording third-party observers having an impact on the validity of the testing.
In what way? That they might say something to please the third party, or am I getting it wrong?
Well, they may, depending on the nature of the situation, they may put forth, extreme effort, or they may act some way differently than they would in a normal, in a non-observed situation.
Okay.
It can also increase anxiety, which might impair their functioning to some extent.
Is it important for you in conducting testing and evaluation to have the client be, as much as you can control the situation, to be under less stress, to be able to have an environment where the patient can answer questions in a more relaxed setting?
Yes, there's an optimum level of anxiety that is required to keep people attentive to the task. And once we go beyond that, it's referred to as the Yerkes-Dodson curve. Once we go beyond that, it impairs their performance dramatically.
Okay. In this particular case, I'm writing a note down. I wrote down, were there times when Mr. Hunter, when you're spending the time with him, that I think you mentioned it appeared that he had lost focus, or was losing focus? Have I got that correct?
Yes, there were a couple of occasions where he would, I don't want to say drift off, but would just sort of, it wasn't during task, it was during periods between tasks where he would just sort of drift off.
Okay. And were those like long periods of time, short periods of time? How would you?
Less than a minute usually.
Okay. Were there, when you made those observations, did you interpret it to be signs of fatigue, or was like there's yawning or anything like that?
There was no yawning. The question of whether it was fatigue. He also did report, and I don't believe this occurred during the testing, but that he did hear his brother's voice on occasion.
I'm sorry, that he did hear his brother's voice on occasion?
Yes, sir.
And was that on the same day, different days? How did you?
Well, I had asked him about that, and because I questioned about whether the voice was inside his head or outside his head, and he said it sounded like it was inside his head, and he recognized his brother's voice. That did happen on occasion.
When you had those times, did Mr. Hunter did his demeanor change at all? Did he seem to get angry, or any behavioral change you saw when you saw this or made this observation, had these discussions?
No, sir.
Okay. I don't know if were they on, you went out to see Mr. Hunter on 2 different occasions. Were they those times when you said he was talking to his brother, did they happen on both days, one day?
I believe it was both days, but I just asked him on one occasion, during one of the incidents, and he told me about his brother's voice. I didn't pursue that on the other incidences.
I want to go to what Ms. Trigonis was asking about the general of the full-scale IQ. You had mentioned that there's subsets of that Wechsler IQ testing that did you notice any deficits or below average?
Questioning of the psychologist continues here in this hearing today in Volusia County Court for Troy Victorino, asking a judge to separate his upcoming hearing from Jerome Hunter's, saying Hunter has consistently tried to blame him for his part in the Xbox murders. This is about an upcoming Spencer hearing where attorneys are going to present additional evidence ahead of sentencing, trying to mitigate that sentence in whatever way they can. You may remember that Victorino and Hunter both sentenced to death back in May for their part in the 2004 Xbox murders, where 6 people were killed at a home in DeLand over what is believed to be a stolen video game console. You may remember they were first sentenced to death back in 2006, but a long legal battle over that because of a court ruling and changing state law about what needs to happen when it comes to the jury's vote, whether it needs to be unanimous or not for the death penalty. So we're going to keep monitoring this. We're going to take a break here on Fox 35 News Plus. We will keep monitoring what's happening in the courtroom and bring you any further developments here. So we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back after this. Keep it here on Fox Local and on YouTube. Fox 35 Storm Team meteorologist Brooks Garner joins me now. And Brooks, we are gearing up for a hot weekend.
We are, Garrett. We're trading our high rain chances for high heat. And so the beach is going to be a place that a lot of people go, and a lot of people are there right now. It'll be pretty good beach weather today. High temperatures in the upper 80s. We're just about there. There will be a 20% chance for a few showers. Most of the action so far today has already been a couple of showers along A1A down in South Brevard County, India Atlantic Beach points south. Now, the chance for rain continues. Most of the action, though, today is actually going to be west of Orlando, and most of it this evening. So the beaches will be a pretty decent place to go. Just watch out for that moderate risk for rip currents. Best to swim near a lifeguard. Now, you may have noticed the skies look a little bit hazy out there. We've got more of that Saharan dust in the sky. We'll talk much more about that coming up. But what that's going to do is two things. Number one, reduce our overall rain chances and also help to accelerate what will be a pretty rapid heating and warming trend as we head into this weekend until we hit absolutely stifling conditions for early next week. Let me tell you, this is going to be one of the hottest weekends so far this summer. I know it's July in Florida. It gets hot here, but this is going to take it just that next step further where it goes from expectedly stifling to just arguably intolerably hot, at least for a lot of us. So it'll be good to be inside for late this weekend. As far as rain chances go today, we've got a shot at a couple of scattered showers before 6 p.m. around Orlando, but most of the heavy thunderstorm activity will likely hold off to areas west of Orlando between 6 and as late as 10 p.m. So rain becomes less and less part of the weather story, and heat becomes more and more part of the weather story. In fact, today we're about 2 degrees warmer than normal, our high 94, about 92 in Titusville today, and 94 in Bushnell. But for every day that goes by, we've got this ridge of high pressure in the upper levels of the atmosphere that will lead to air sinking. It's called subsidence, and in doing so, it compresses the air, warming it up. So if you're in an air mass that would typically provide a day about 90 or 92, all of a sudden it's 98 or 100. Yeah, and as that moves westward, we're going to see triple-digit heat across parts of the Carolinas, Georgia, Alabama, and Mississippi. And down here, we do have oceans on both sides of us. You know, you got the Gulf, you got the Atlantic, so the sea breezes tend to keep it a touch cooler. But that said, we're still looking at upper 90s by the early part of next week. And with the high humidity, it could feel like it's as hot as 112 or 113 degrees, putting us at the danger category for the heat index. It won't be until the end of next week that cooler weather seeps in from the north, providing more clouds and more storm chances. It won't actually be colder, but at least like as far as cold air moving from point A to point B, but at least it won't be as hot because the clouds and the rain will tend to deflect a lot of the sunshine. So the peak heat indexes will go from 106 today to around 111 to 113 on Monday. And the threshold for what's considered really dangerous heat is about 113. That's when the National Weather Service will issue an excessive heat warning. And that's certainly a potential on Monday. So Monday is going to be a Fox 35 weather impact day for the heat. It'll be bookended by really warm weather. All right, let's look at the heat forecast. Now it's time for your tropical outlook. And we've got an area of low pressure in the Northwest Gulf, and that's the one that brought us the rain actually 2 weeks ago, did a big loop-the-loop, came back around for more rain early this week. Now it's back where it came from in the North Gulf, and there's a chance it develops into a tropical depression. The National Hurricane Center says, you know what, this thing's running out of time. It's about to move ashore into Texas, eliminating its chance to become a tropical depression, but they're still hanging on to about a 10% possibility. Either way, heavy rain is going to be the result. So that's something in the Gulf. Now, our computer models give this about a 10% chance for development, but that's about it. So that's good news. Now, part of the reason that things have been so quiet is the abundance of dust from the Sahara. We've got it overhead this weekend. You can see it in our skies, and you can see it on this map right here. The dust is going to be with us on and off for the next several weeks. A plume traceable all the way back to the continent of Africa, traveling over 5,000 miles across the Atlantic. Plume after plume, expulsion after expulsion of dust. Kind of unusual how dusty it's been. Some years are drier than others, and this is one of those years. Typically, the dust tamps down by the middle of August to the end of August, allowing for the tropical Atlantic to really start producing tropical systems. Right now, there's a tropical wave down in the Western Caribbean. No threat of that developing, but it will bring heavy rain to Belize. We've also got a lot of heavy rain and a tropical wave heading for the Lesser Antilles, like around St. Lucia and Guadeloupe. That one is not expected to develop, and looking eastward to coastal sections of the Ivory Coast there of Africa, from Dakar down through the country of Ghana, it looks to be pretty quiet. Another tropical wave there will be emerging from the coast. So we'll continue to watch this. Some of the long-range models are suggesting that we may see development for the first half of August. Let's look at your tropical update. All right, let's talk 7-day forecast. So around these parts, we've got mid-90s through Sunday, and then upper 90s on Monday. It's going to be hot on Sunday. It's going to be hotter on Monday, followed by what could be more steam heat on the way for Tuesday. You know, Tuesday's forecast will be determined by just how prolific those storms are. There's a chance the storms come in a little bit earlier, keeping temperatures a little bit cooler. But the bottom line is that early next week, if you're working outside, if you're down here on vacation, if you're a seasoned Floridian, it's going to be hot by any standard, by any metric. So, Garrett, this is about it. The hottest weather of the summer is upon us. So I want to give you guys that early heads up, and we're going to go from stormy to hot and then back to some storms for the end of next week.
Yeah, figure out those ways to stay cool, whether it's the beach, whether it's the pool, whether it's a water park, something.
You know it, Garrett. Absolutely. That is going to be the name of the game. Stay cool. We're just going to be we got the kiddie pool, the hose, got the kids all set up. So it's all about the sprinklers in our backyard.
Hey, I'll run through it too. Fox 35 Storm Team Meteorologist Brooks Garner, we appreciate you joining us.
You got it. My pleasure, Garrett. Have a great weekend. And
as we go to break here on Fox 35 News Plus, leave you with this that slightly hazy view that Brooks pointed out of downtown Orlando, looking over Lake Eola here on this Friday morning. Keep it here on Fox Local. More Fox 35 News Plus after this.
You're watching Fox 35 News Plus, streaming on Fox Local.
Welcome back into Fox 35 News Plus. I'm Garrett Weimer, and thanks for joining us on this Friday morning. Governor Ron DeSantis was in the Everglades this morning at Alligator Alcatraz, holding a news conference alongside a number of other state officials, talking about deportation flights beginning from Alligator Alcatraz. The governor says that hundreds of detainees have already been deported, and they're actually hoping for the Department of Justice to approve immigration judges on site to speed up that deportation process. Here's the governor and the Florida Emergency Management Director, Kevin Guthrie, at Alligator Alcatraz just a little bit ago.
The site here at the Dade Collier Airport in the heart of South Florida was a unique opportunity because while it was an existing footprint with a massive runway, it was something that was not necessarily full or being used all the time. And so we were able to, under Kevin Guthrie's leadership, within record time, create a facility that could support intaking, processing, and eventually deporting these illegal aliens. And that's important to deport from Florida, but obviously from the United States as well. So we have capacity now for a couple thousand. We can expand that as demand is there. And we're looking forward to being able to do that. I know that the administration has called on other states to follow suit and expand this type of capacity, and I would just reiterate that call. I think it's important. I think it'll make a difference. And so we're here today to say, this was never intended to be something where people are just held and we just kind of twiddle our thumbs. The whole purpose is to make this be a place that can facilitate increased frequency and numbers of deportations of illegal aliens. And that is the goal. And one of the reasons why this was a sensible spot is because you have this runway that's right here. You don't have to drive them an hour to an airport. You go a couple thousand feet and they can be on a plane and out of here. So I'm pleased to report that those flights out of Alligator Alcatraz by DHS have begun. The cadence is increasing. We've already had a number of flights in the last few days. We've had hundreds of illegals have been removed from here, and the federal government has a process of how they eventually do, and they've done it different ways on some of these different flights. But the reality is this provides an ability to enhance the mission, to increase the number and frequency of deportations. And so what's been done here has really been remarkable. There's full ground-to-air communications from the airfield. There's air tracking radar capabilities on site, securing all access ports to the taxiway and runway on aircraft arrival. That happens. You got 5,000 gallons of jet fuel on site. You got runway lighting. You got everything you need to be able to do that. This airport is able to accept commercial-sized aircraft and conduct both day and nighttime operations. And so that's what it's all about, to be able to help process and remove folks that are legally in the state of Florida and in the United States of America. So we look forward to this cadence increasing. One of the things when the president came and visited that he approved was deputizing state officers, including National Guard judge advocates, to be immigration judges. And the vision is to just have them on site. You can move forward with the processing very quickly and increase the numbers. And the flow would be there'd be a high turnover rate here because you'd be constantly doing that. We're working very closely with the Department of Justice. We have not yet had any approval for anybody to be able to come down here and do that, but we do anticipate that happening very soon. And when that happens, you're going to have an availability of a lot of folks to be able to be ripe, to be able to be removed and ultimately sent back to their home countries. I've also pointed out we've been supportive of the efforts that if somebody is earmarked to come here and they would choose to simply voluntarily deport. Now, they're not just going to take your word for it. They're going to take you, chaperone you, make sure that you're on that aircraft and that you're landed in your home country. But there is resources available to do that. And I think that makes sense from a taxpayer perspective because it's cheaper to do it that way. It's also more efficient. So anybody that wants to take up on the offer can do it. We've had some people take up on the offer, and it's not just limited to Alligator Alcatraz. That's something that in any of these instances with immigration enforcement, that's a way to short circuit and ultimately get where we're trying to go anyways.
As our capacity increases, we continue to identify contingency plans to ensure we are ready for hurricane season. I know that I've taken a little bit of heat in the media that the EM guy is not taking care of hurricane season. That is absolutely unequivocally false. When we have 1,000, I need to make sure we have room for 1,000. When we go to 2,000, I need to make sure we have room for 2,000. And yes, I may have visited some facilities in the state of Florida. Why? Because this facility, as I've said on the record, can withstand category winds of up to category 2. But there's a category 3 and a 4 and a 5, and I hate to talk to you so elementary, but unfortunately we have to break some things down into simple building blocks for other people. Category 3, 4, and 5 is greater than and not equal to a category 2. When we have that situation, we will have to do an evacuation. And it's incumbent upon the Florida Division of Emergency Management with our law enforcement partners to be able to take care of that. So yes, we are constantly looking at what we can do based on need when we get to a certain level where we're going to go. And I promise you that the hurricane guys have got the hurricane stuff covered. I promise you that. I'm sorry, I'll get back on track now. Again, just in case you forgot, we are #1 in the nation in emergency response and recovery. And that includes everything from evacuating detention facilities, jails, and hospitals, should that need ever arise. Our on-site and services include hot meal service 3 times a day, not gray turkey, by the way, full medical care, including 24/7 clinic and pharmacy, indoor and outdoor recreational space, laundry, legal, and clergy services, air-conditioned detention housing units. Again, I've said in the past, and I'll say again, either meet or exceed the higher standard, whatever that is, whether it's Florida standard or national standard, we meet or exceed the higher standard. The security infrastructure includes over 28,000 feet of barbed wire and fencing, nearly 300 security cameras, a trained force of over 400 security personnel, including an additional 200 National Guard. Additionally, this facility is surrounded by miles and miles and miles, I believe it's 39 square miles, of natural buffer, turning what was once just a taxiway that saw up to, this is another stat for you, up to over 100 flights a day as we have issues with the environment. All of a sudden, governor is tearing up the environment. There were over 100 flights a day coming in and out of this facility. There's much less than 100 flights a day coming in and out of this facility now.
The flights are going. I think the cadence is going to increase. I think you're going to continue to see the numbers really go up dramatically. And then as there's demand, we can expand the footprint here to 3,000. And then we can do Camp Blanding. And I said we've always been ready, willing, and able to do that. I don't want it to be something where illegals are just being like stored there and then just kind of sitting. I want it to be where illegals are here, there's an aggressive processing and an aggressive deportation schedule. That's what you're seeing starting to occur here down at Alligator Alcatraz. And when there's demand for that beyond here, up there, then we're happy to be able to respond accordingly. And so we look forward to the increased cadence. We look forward to hopefully being able to get the approval for the immigration judges to be on site here. And we've offered different personnel that are doing. We're working through different issues because there are logistical issues involved. But President Trump was very clear. He wants to see a force multiplier with respect to the immigration adjudication process. And he wants to speed it up. And he wants Florida to play a role. And he wants the DOJ to approve a way forward there.
The contracts not being on the website is false. What our staff ended up doing was we actually put proprietary information on the website. We have competitive contracts. We are encouraged to do competitive procurements. And by the way, there's not a single sole source contract at this site. Now that you got me riled back up again, sorry about that. Everything here has been competitively bid off of master contracts that went to competitive procurement a year, 2, 3 years ago. So what happened was our team put the actual detailed line item PO that then now every other competitive contractor can see what their rate is. So we took that down. We've replaced it with summary sheets on the actual amount that they've been given. So that's what's happened there.
What about the legal?
Oh, and the legal issue. Legal issue, my understanding, my attorney has told me that she has worked out the issues and we should have our first set of on-site legal representation no later than Monday. And we are scheduled, I'm looking for my guy, we're scheduled to go with that almost 24/7 if we need to. So the space that we have, we can do those meetings all day long, 24/7, 365. But we had some technology issues. We have now worked those things out, and we should be starting that on Monday.
So some new details there coming out from that news conference in Alligator Alcatraz with the on-site legal representation coming Monday, the push to bring immigration judges on site. You heard them talking about looking at ways to kind of speed up this process as things move forward. We are going to take a break here on Fox 35 News Plus, but we'll be right back after this.
watching Fox 35 News Plus, streaming on Fox Local.
Welcome back into Fox 35 News Plus. I'm Garrett Weimer, and thanks for joining us on this Friday morning, live on Fox Local and on YouTube. Just a little bit ago, we heard from the Crew 10 up from the International Space Station before they come home. Still a few weeks away from that, but earlier today they spoke in a news conference live from space where they talked about their ongoing mission, some of the things they've done. There are 4 members of that Crew 10, a Japanese astronaut, a Russian cosmonaut, and 2 NASA astronauts, Anne McClain and Nicole Ayers. Let's go ahead and listen in from that news conference just a little bit ago, live from space.
Space Day where we got to accomplish a cool mission. When I get back home, I'm kind of looking forward to doing nothing for a couple of days.
Yes, same as Anna. It's very difficult to pick just one thing, but I would say the time I spend with my crewmates, it's kind of very precious and super valuable. So when I go back home, I will miss that time I spend with my crewmates. And also I'm really looking forward to seeing my family and also taking a hot shower on the ground.
And so I think the biggest difference between last flight and this flight that I've really enjoyed seeing is the difference in some of the science and the advancement. So, you know, 6 years ago, I got to be part of some experiments in protein crystal growth where we were asking, can we produce protein crystals to use for human disease pathology research on the ground? And some of those early missions, I remember looking through a microscope in the lab in 2019 and looking at the protein structures and how big they were growing, and we were really asking, like, can we do this? And then fast forward to now, the protein crystals that we've grown on Space Station have had a direct impact on research on the ground. Drugs like
the ISS commander, as you are looking back on your time in space, and also you will be welcoming your colleague Kimiya Yui-san to the ISS. During a recent press conference with him, he said, you are doing a great job in orbit, and that's actually a big pressure for him. I think it was a kind of joke. So can you please talk about what you want to say to him when you first meet him at the entrance hatch of the ISS? Thank you.
Hey, thank you for the question. For the first part of your question, so it's been a great honor for me to be the...
This experience might change you, and now that we're on the other end of it, I'm curious what new perspectives or reflections you all will be bringing home with you.
Yeah, I think the perspective change, it kind of shifts in everybody over time up here for a variety of reasons. The physical location, the isolation, working together with the crew, the view, the perspectives. For me personally, what's really humbling and perspective changing about spaceflight is...
Oh man, this is one of those things that's tough to pick as well. You know, I think...
Apologize that keeps jumping around and kind of glitching a little bit. Not really sure what the issue is there. Apologize for that, but it was interesting to hear them speak a little bit ago, and I'm sorry we weren't able to bring that to you in a little bit of a cleaner manner there. Well, this afternoon, the Ormond Beach police officer accused of slamming a handcuffed woman to the ground is set to be in court. His name is Jacob Cannon. He resigned earlier this summer after that incident. This afternoon, scheduled to have a plea hearing and be sentenced in that. Fox 35's Matt Trezza explains what we can expect in court this afternoon.
So former officer Jacob Cannon's hearing will be a plea and sentencing hearing that's going to take place this afternoon. This coming after an incident last December when investigators say he threw a woman to the ground, something that was caught on video. Take a look at that here.
Coward! You! Take me to go piss? No, take
Cannon was on duty when investigators say he threw Shannon McCree down after she refused to sit in a chair while taking a breathalyzer test. McCree was allegedly insulting Cannon while at the police station, but instead of ignoring her or de-escalating the situation, Cannon allegedly assaulted her instead. He was charged with felony battery after the incident and resigned from the police force on January 31st before turning himself in at the Volusia County Jail. He has since been free on bond, and the hearing is set for 1:30 p.m. this afternoon.
Yeah, 1:30, and we will have that streaming for you here on Fox Local. Also in court this afternoon, a man accused of murdering his grandparents in Brevard County. This happened Wednesday night in West Melbourne. A neighbor was also shot and injured when this happened, and as Fox 35's Marley Capper reports, the suspect currently being held with no bond.
This is 22-year-old Jeremiah Campbell. He's expected in court around 1:15 this afternoon. He's from Texas, but had been staying with his grandparents for about a week. Deputies say they don't know why he was down here in Texas or what led up to the shooting. We are told that Campbell shot and killed his grandmother, 81-year-old Mary White. Then he turned the gun on his grandfather, 83-year-old George White, when he ran to the neighbor's house for help. The neighbors called 911, but Campbell allegedly began firing shots through their front door, hitting his own grandfather in the back and shooting the homeowner's 25-year-old granddaughter in the leg. Thankfully, she will be okay.
Grabbed George's arm and pulled him in, and then shut the door and locked it right where you are. And he turned and started heading to the hallway. That one there, one of them, hit him in the back.
Campbell is charged with second-degree murder and attempted murder. Again, he will be in court later this afternoon.
At 1:15, that scheduled hearing. We're going to take another break here on Fox 35 News Plus, but keep it here on Fox Local because we will be right back. I want to give you a live look right now. We may have just missed it, but it was a banner being flown by an airplane outside the building in Tallahassee, where we know the Department of Justice is meeting with Ghislaine Maxwell again today. I was trying to give you a live look there. It doesn't look like we're going to be able to get it, but it was one of those planes that's pulling a banner that said Trump and Bondi are protecting predators. And obviously still facing a lot of criticism for the handling of the Epstein case. And again, the DOJ meeting with Ghislaine Maxwell for a second day today in Tallahassee. So that is something we are keeping an eye on as well. Also continuing to monitor this hearing in Volusia County. But big news yesterday as we learned of the death of Hulk Hogan. And fans in Orlando flocked to his shop in the tourist district to pay their respects yesterday. Fox 35's Marley Capper shows us how they showed their support and paid those final respects to the wrestling and pop culture icon.
Good morning. We're here at Hulk Hogan's wrestling shop right off of I-4. And since we've been here this morning, we've seen several people come and take pictures hitting that iconic wrestling pose. And then, of course, laying down flowers. There's candles here. And on the sidewalk, there's a lot of messages saying rest in peace in chalk. People have left lots of things for the store. Now, Hulk Hogan was a big man with an even bigger personality, a wrestler, actor, and reality TV star. He became a symbol of Americana. Hogan has a complex history. His stardom boomed in the 80s with WWE. He paroled into a career in film and television. Now, it stalled in 2015 when Hogan's past racist comments hit the internet. He apologized and was reinstated to the WWE Hall of Fame 3 years later. We caught up with fans who showed up to his store Thursday to pay their respects.
I know he's a polarizing character in the industry, but you can't deny the energy and the impact.
I seen it this morning. We've got to come down to the shop today, and then I seen it this morning. I woke up and was sad.
The WWE sent us this statement saying, in part, quote, "One of pop culture's most recognizable figures, Hogan, helped WWE achieve global recognition in the 1980s. Hogan's family says, may we all take solace in the wonderful memories he left behind for millions of fans worldwide whose lives he touched for more than 4 decades. Hogan has owned this store since 2017, and it actually closed early yesterday to pay their respects, but we expect fans will continue to come lay flowers and candles and messages on the ground for him. I peeked inside and I can see a lot of his just iconic memorabilia, so I also expect that when the store opens, it'll be busy with fans who want to buy memorabilia. For now, reporting in Orlando, Marley Capper, Fox 35 News.
Yeah, I'm sure that is something that will continue for a while, people wanting to show those, pay those respects. Well, today is a World Drowning Prevention Day. That is something very important for families and anyone here in Florida because of our beaches, springs, lakes, and ponds, days at the pool. And Fox 35's Marie Ettinger has more on that story.
It's never too young to start. It's never too old to start either, but here at the YMCA, they do have these amazing youth training programs. I'm here with John Lewis. He's the Vice President for Aquatics for the YMCA in Central Florida. And we've been watching these kids swim today. It's been so amazing. Behind us is Caroline. She's 1.5 years old and she's already learning. So talk to me about the different programs y'all have for kids and how they vary based on their age.
Yeah, absolutely. So we start swimming lessons as young as 6 months at the YMCA. We have a couple of different programs. So what we're looking at this morning is actually our Safe Start program. And this is the infant self-rescue swim lesson program where we teach kids how to roll over, rest, and recover if they have an accidental fall into a body of water. And then we also have other swimming lessons for this age group, our parent and child swimming lessons that help to teach water acclimation into the water so that kids can be comfortable and understand to be safe in and around the water.
The state of Florida just created these voucher programs that allow people to get swim lessons for free. The YMCA has a separate program through Medicaid. You guys also offer scholarships. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So we believe that drowning is 100% preventable, and so we want to make swimming lessons accessible for all. And so we offer income-based financial assistance, and we also accept Sunshine Health vouchers through Medicaid.
Yeah, that really is so amazing. We've got a little bit more time here, so we were also talking about how you guys have swim lessons for adults too.
Yeah, so like you said, it's never too late to learn how to swim. So whether you're a young adult or an older adult, anyone is welcome to take swimming lessons at the YMCA. And those swim lessons are for all skill levels and all abilities. So if you're afraid of the water, if you've had any sort of a near drowning experience, we certainly encourage people to reach out to the Y and see how we can help.
Yeah. Florida, we have a bunch, thank you so much for your time. We have a bunch of pools, we have a bunch of lakes, we have beaches, and there can be accidents that happen in just a split second. So you really want to make sure that you have this ability, and part of it is for safety, some of it could just be for fun.
That's a good point. You know, it happens so fast, so it's important to know those skills. Well, a Lake Mary Little League baseball player is in Taiwan right now, representing Team USA on the world stage. Fox 35's Stephanie Buffamonte spoke to him and his coach.
It feels awesome. Like, once you put that jersey on,
the whole team, the whole USA is rooting for you, and it's just a big deal to be honored to play for your country.
12-year-old Christopher Chikadroff filled with American pride as he represents Team USA on the diamond. He's in Taiwan right now, and the importance of the U12 Baseball World Cup is not lost on this young boy.
When I looked at myself at 12, I never thought I would ever do this, so it's a big honor to represent your country in in another country.
Last year, he was one of the Lake Mary All-Stars who claimed the Little League World Series title.
When I started playing for Little League last year, I wasn't as good as I am right now. So after we won the World Series, it was a dream come true. But I told myself that once I get back home, I'll keep getting better and keep showing off my talent to other people.
And he did. Lake Mary Little League manager Jonathan Anderson is more than proud to see him in a different uniform, this time with USA across his chest.
They're playing Panama, they're going to play the Dominican, they're going to play Cuba. All teams from around the country have made baseball teams, and they're going to compete for medals, right? That's a big deal.
Now Chikadroff is learning from some of the best coaches in the country. Knowledge of the game this talented kid plans to bring back to Central Florida.
I will never learn the stuff that I have from right now. It's just amazing coaching and awesome. It's just an awesome experience.
Reporting in Lake Mary, Stephanie Buffmonte, Fox 35 News.
And we should also note when it comes to Lake Mary Little League, the softball team, the Little League softball team from Lake Mary, just won their regional final by a score of 8-1, meaning they advance now to the Little League Softball World Series, which begins August 3rd in Greenville, North Carolina. So congratulations to the Lake Mary Little League baseball and softball, both heading to their next steps. So another exciting summer for Little League sports here in Lake Mary. Well, training camp is underway in the NFL, and we had the chance to hear from Tampa Bay Buccaneers quarterback Baker Mayfield. Here's a little bit of what he had to say about the training camp and how things are going at Bucs camp.
You heard a week or so before the season that Tristan Wirfs, who you're very good friends with, or you rely on heavily, was going to go overnight, and he's going to miss some time. So what does that do for your mind space?
Yeah, obviously unfortunate when you're thinking about heading into the year. You think about the pieces that you have, what you envision the season being like, game planning. It sucks. Timing-wise, really, really sucks. I don't know all the details about the timing of it, but we unfortunately had to deal with this last year when Luke went down for a while and having a game plan. So it's when it comes to the game plan stuff and what we're dealing with, it's we'll adjust, but we trust Charlie. I mean, he's here for a reason, so still trying to instill the faith in him that he's more than capable of doing his job at the left tackle spot. And then just when it comes to us, just game planning, knowing that we don't have our all-pro left tackle, being smart with it, knowing that what type of team we have defensively, the upgrades is so offensively, how can we minimize mistakes, turnovers, and let our defense thrive early on in the year until we really get healthy.
To trust who's there, whether they put a tight end, whatever the protection scheme, you just have to trust the whole rest.
Yeah, and I think that's, as you get older at the quarterback position, how quickly can you get the ball out? How quickly can you get into your playmakers' hands, let them make plays? And so I still think it goes hand in hand with that. Obviously, unfortunate that Tristan's not going to be there, but when it comes to me doing my job, I still have to focus on that.
Aligning all this, the fact that Charlie's going to have this long on-ramp with the training camp and the preseason, get ready, where with Justin, it was like Luke didn't practice on that Wednesday, and all of a sudden he's going up against the
I think, when you think about it that way, there is a silver lining in it. They're getting reps together as the starting five as of right now. They're getting reps together communication-wise, and that unit, the more they get chemistry, the more they get going together, the better it's going to be. So it is good that they're getting reps. Circumstantially, not the best reason why, but it's great that from day one in training camp we're doing it.
Because this offensive probably be very similar to last year, but are there easy things you can point to with Grizz that would be different about this offense?
Yeah, I think just what Grizz did last year in our pass game. How are we moving Mike around to get him to where he's not double teamed every time? And that, obviously with the weapons we have now, you can't exactly do that anyway. But just the motions, moving guys around. That's Grizz's forte. So there's some changes in terminology, but nothing major overhaul. So now it's nothing carries over into the next year. We know what we could be good at, so we're still trying to improve on it. But, you know, training camp, you're still trying to figure out what type of team you're going to be.
Playing within these last 2 days here, training camp, getting back to it.
Their training camp just getting underway. Season's going to be here before you know it. Well, we appreciate you joining us here on Fox 35 News Plus. Just a reminder, 1:30, that the hearing in the plea hearing and sentencing in from the Ormond Beach officer. We will have that live for you here on Fox Local, and that'll carry us into Florida Live at 2 o'clock. So keep it here on Fox Local, and have a great afternoon.